Hello and welcome to another live chat. Welcome to here. Happy Wednesday. What day is it? Oh my goodness. It's been a week. I feel like I keep coming here every Wednesday because we were here last Wednesday and then the Wednesday before that. And you know, last Wednesday ended up being a whole story, so you'll hear more on that later. But I'm glad everybody who's seen the thumbnail enjoys the thumbnail because it was quite fun.
That's right. I put a lot of work into a lot of hard work into it.
Yes, Disembodied Voice made a point to work on that. A couple nights ago.
Yeah.
We were actually prepared ahead of time.
We actually didn't do it the night before.
Mm-hmm. And then, as always, I've got my wonderful painter Flo,
Hello.
working on my chimera for a tournament this upcoming weekend. I'm in a team tournament on Saturday. So we'll knock off a little rust and, get my face pummeled. It'll be good times. Should be fun. Yeah. So I guess I can start by saying hi to everybody in the chat. Disembodied Voice, I didn't know if you wanted to talk more about your thumbnail process or whatever, but it was fun.
I don't know. I just had a lot of fun making it, so I spent way more hours on it than I should.
Hours on it?
Oh, yeah. I spent a lot of hours. I even put a gradient on the flames, so there's darker colored flames at the top and lighter colored.
That's right.
And then I made all three of those little steering wheel symbols. Space Marine one was like, it's okay. The Orc one was kind of obvious.
The Orc one works perfectly, and then obviously the AdMech one works perfectly.
Yeah, the AdMech one. I kind of saw the symbol, and I was like, I wonder if that works. And I put it in. I was like, that kind of does. It's kind of neat.
We were having a bit of a discussion prior to the start of tonight's live stream, earlier on, about like how popular is the aesthetic of post-apocalypse, and you bring up the zombie thing, and that is a really, really good point. Typically, I wouldn't associate post-apocalyptic as an aesthetic to be much more popular than steampunk, but I guess when you throw the zombie genre in there, it's like massive.
Well, it's like about 50% of zombie movies are post-apocalyptic.
Well, it's possible that 50% of all post-apocalyptic movies are zombie movies. It's like there's so much overlap there. But like Mad Max is a post-apocalyptic like wasteland, like that specific aesthetic. I don't know that that's a lot more popular than steampunk, particularly. Like it's kind of niche. It's not everyone's tea.
I would say it is, because I can't really name a lot of steampunk movies, and the few of them that I can name, I don't think they've been successful. Whereas Mad Max was actually really popular from the 80s.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Oh gosh, what would be a good steampunk? What is it? Hugo was kind of steampunk.
I mean, Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West.
Steampunk.
Oh no.
And we all know that did really well.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
Even with Will Smith's
It's pretty
song
funny, though.
that goes with it.
That's right. That was super steampunk. What was I going to say? Jupiter Ascending, I think, is steampunk in a lot of ways.
No, it's just weird sci-fi.
It's just weird sci-fi?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
I guess, like, if you think of some Terry Gilliam stuff, he always had kind of a, like, what is it, the Baron von Munchausen?
Uh-huh.
Like, that could be fairly steampunk. I have no idea how well that did. I just know I always liked it. but I don't know what it didn't. I don't even know what year it came out. Honestly, I just feel like it's the late '80s somewhere.
Do you think post-apocalyptic and like Western have a lot of overlap?
Well,
I mean,
kind
of.
Fallout is kind of
yeah, and I mean
Yeah.
the Fallout show came out fairly recently, so
because it's like
And was
so-
acclaimed way more for its aesthetic than any other reason.
So aesthetic wise, I don't know, but like thematically they do, right? Because the entire point of the West, the Wild West, right, Westerns, is that I mean, if you travel back east or you go to Europe, like the world's actually fairly civilized. Like there's a lot more technology and everything than you think. But when you go out to the Wild West, it's kind of this lawless frontier, right? And you
Yeah.
have strongmen that come in and you know they're either bandits or they're like lawmakers or not lawmakers,
Lawmen,
law
yeah.
enforcers, right?
Yeah.
And so that is very, very, post-apocalyptic because there is no like set up
Big institution
law
to-
enforcement or something. Yeah, it's just like so the themes are very much there, and so anytime they cross over, I could see that being like mixing really well. But it's on an aesthetic level, I don't know that they always are. I mean, I guess Walking Dead main character, did he run around with a cowboy hat? I know he did.
Yeah,
at some
somebody
point,
did,
'cause he
yeah.
was like a sheriff or something.
yes.
And then so they kind of have that, and obviously the ghoul and the new Fallout thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone in Mad Max runs around with like a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Crocodile Dundee like version of Mad
Right.
Max, to my knowledge. Maybe there is. I would probably watch that. I enjoyed Crocodile Dundee as a kid. I don't remember a lick of it, but
I'm trying to think of other like post-apocalyptic that would have had a cowboy in it.
I'm not sure.
You just think of the old what A Boy and His Dog, like that old movie with what's the guy from Miami Vice? I am blanking on his name.
The big mustache one.
No, he plays. I don't remember if he plays Crockett or Tubbs, but Don Johnson. It's when Don Johnson was like 20 or something like that. It's an older post-apocalyptic movie. I don't think anyone wears a cowboy hat in that.
No. Quick hi to everyone in the chat, by the way. Mandragora, thank you so much for joining. And if you haven't liked the video, just do it now so we don't have to try and remember on our way out. It just makes things happier. Hi, Mr. Kyle. Quitty Presser, all the painters say, we don't need another mini. We don't need to start another army. All we want is life beyond Painterdome.
You're supposed to sing it in the Tina Turner style.
Yeah. You can do that for me.
I'll just be like that little chorus of kids in the background.
Oh. Yeah, I know I've seen, well, I think I've seen the movie. You kept pointing out, like, oh, well, you remember this scene, and I was like, no.
There's a good chance Miranda actually has not seen Beyond Thunderdome,
Yeah.
but we thought you had.
I thought so. Well, okay, so I grew up, remember when they would play movies on TV, and it was edited to hell, and, like, had 1,000 commercial breaks in it. Like, that was how I saw a fair number of movies, because we were like 60 miles from the nearest movie theater for a long time. And so, a lot of it was either on VHS.
A lot of Gilbert Godfrey and Rhonda Shear up all night.
Well, that was when I was staying with my dad and we had stolen cable. It's a different story. That was later on.
Oh, okay.
Although probably around the same time. Anyway, yes. So, Plunder Den, hey everyone, sadly can't join tonight. I have to get back to work. But wanted to pop in and say hi and wish everyone a great evening. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing all right. Plunder Den, good luck with all your work. Melinda, hi.
Hey, don't skip by.
Oh.
Mr. Kyle said you have an awesome thumbnail. Trying to skip over my praises here.
He's so sensitive about this. Thomas, greetings to Miranda, Painter Flow, and disembodied voice. Painter Shop Jobby on the thumbnail. What? You don't think that's me? I'm offended. Is that a MK4 Chimera? No, it's not. It's a Chimera for 40K. Sorry. The
You
tournament
could
I'm in
use
is a 40K tournament. What?
I was like, all right, so compare those levels of technology.
Oh, well, yeah.
Although all it has are really flamers and like a storm bolter, so
And a hunter killer missile. We're gonna
Oh, okay.
glue that on somewhere. Just
Well, it's not on there yet. Well, I was gonna say like the big guys. I forget what they're called now. Colossal. Like I feel like a colossal would still take that thing out, but I don't know. The hunter killer missile, he might be able to one shot.
it depends.
The colossal.
Can it hit?
Well, it's an Imperial Guard vehicle, so what does it have? A 50-50 chance of hitting?
Well, who's
Not if
rolling the
you're Miranda.
dice? Anyway, what team tournament you bringing the Chimera to? Team tournament for 40K. I believe I'll be teamed up with Iron Hands for 2K.
Here in Albuquerque.
Armadas. Yep,
Tavern.
at Tavern of Lost Souls Gaming here in Albuquerque. Yeah, Luis runs a good shop, and actually they moved into a bigger space, so it'll be the first time I finally get to check it out. So I'll be there basically all day Saturday. Anyway, let's see here. JP, Garroget's Gamma World set the aesthetic. Blame Elmore, Parkinson, and Caldwell.
I used to have the original Gamma World box set for the role-playing game.
Oh,
Remember I showed you had that like sort of cybernetic saber-toothed tiger thing that guy was riding?
no,
You don't remember?
I don't.
That was like probably 2 months ago. Okay.
It's gonna be very, very bad when I hit old age. Anyway, Rolando, Dark City was a little steampunk, not much though. Dark City was like dystopian, because I was thinking about that too. Like, is it really steampunk? But like dystopia is like, I guess everything's still functioning, which steampunk does too. But
No,
Dark City was more high tech.
Dark City was just unfortunate because it came out the same time as The Matrix. And so everybody forgot about it. But it was actually pretty cool. But it was like there's aliens in it and stuff like that. So it's,
Oh no, I really liked it.
I don't know. I feel like it has like a little bit of a clockwork aesthetic to it, but it is still kind of sci-fi.
JP says that 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is steampunk.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so that was pretty popular.
And then like the Time Machine.
Oh
Steampunk.
yeah, okay. Jeremy disagrees. He says post-apocalyptic is way more popular than steampunk. Yes, maybe so, but I just
think he's
feel like
probably
if you
right.
pull the zombies out, it's a much closer race.
Yeah, I think that's true. But I think it still wins.
Oh yeah, Hellboy 2. Hellboy's steampunk AF. Like
Yeah.
the first two even. The ones with that man, Ron Perlman.
The Guillermo del Toro ones.
Yes, the Guillermo ones. And I mean the comic even has that vibe to it. So Time Bandits was a little steampunk.
Time Bandits.
Yeah.
I was thinking of watching that
Oh,
because,
yeah?
well, I own it,
Yeah.
but I was looking through my movies. It's like, I haven't watched that in a while. Maybe I'll put that on.
Nice. So what are these guys? They're post-apocalyptic? Well, it's post-apocalyptic-ish. They're Necromunda, right?
Yeah.
Which hive gangers? Do you know?
What did I say they were? Hold on. I have the answer to this.
I'm sorry, all these.
Well, they're the like what is it? Bone grinder cult.
Something like
Something like that.
I can't remember. Like, I don't get into Necromunda, and you don't care for Necromunda. And
Yeah, I don't know. I like the military
I paint
stuff
what's
more
given
than
to
game
me.
stuff.
I never ask questions.
that's fair. Sorry to put you on the spot.
So, all right, somebody's
Corpse
saying
grinder
Baron von
cult gang.
Munchausen is lace
we go.
punk.
Yeah, JP, I was about to say he considered it lace punk.
The Corpse Grinder Cult Gang.
Corpse grinder, obviously.
Not bone grinder.
No, grind some
Bones
corpses.
are
They're
only
very
Yeah,
thorough.
they're just, bones
not
are
the bone
merely a
crackers?
part of the corpse.
Well, yeah, you don't waste material like that in the hive cities.
That's right. They grind the whole corpse.
So lace punk.
So I would think like Bridgerton is lace punk. Just all the costume porn like shows. That would be lace punk, right?
Well, but the punk element would mean it's some kind of moxie or sass.
Does that mean like lace core?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
maybe
the
more
difference
lace
between
core.
and punk.
History bounding. Hashtag Bridgerton doesn't believe in history.
No.
Which is fine. They
I feel
super
like they're very
embraced it.
open about it.
No,
so
they
that's
do.
fine.
It's actually one of the few shows I respect because all like the super modern stuff works really well with it. Because they're like, yeah, we just don't care. We use modern everything. Like, remember when A Knight's Tale came out and it had all the modern music and people were like, this is weird. Well, we're all okay with it now.
It was weird, but it was still a
Well,
lot
it's
of
like,
fun.
what was the one we saw? Mary Queen of Scots.
Yeah, see,
That
that
was
was
kinda done the same
less.
way?
That was way more disingenuous, though.
Well, because it was like, hey, look at this historical movie.
Yeah.
Also, there's a gay black man in, in
like,
whatever the
whatever
Parliament of
old
Scotland
France.
is, and you're like,
Scott,
no,
Scotland.
I don't think there is.
Well, there's a lot of weird.
There's like Asian
Elements.
people in it, and there's like all, and you're like, I feel like
whatever,
Scotland
but-
was fairly homogenous in that time.
Like old style Europe when there was a lot of like
I feel like
let's say
maybe-
And
tribalism.
it's kind of like the new Assassin's Creed, where they're like, we're going to do it in feudal Japan, but your main characters are a female ninja and the lone black samurai that existed.
Yeah, at least he actually existed.
No,
He
didn't.
existed.
No, he didn't.
No, he did. Like
No,
he has
I know exactly who this guy is. And
Oh,
no, he
okay.
didn't.
I don't know.
He was like an honorary samurai because they just named him that so that he could, what was it, Nobunaga's court, or I forget which, like shogunate or whatever, but they gave him the title so that he could be around him, but it's not like he was like an actual samurai that studied the Bushido code and all that stuff. Like
He wasn't
that-
testing the
person
sharpness
he
of
was
his
there.
blade
As
on
a
the local
person he
peasantry.
No, he didn't do any of that. And so, no, it's like there's one guy, and there's like one black guy in all of Japanese history.
And that's who you have to play as. And I was like,
You're like, okay, sure.
I mean, meeting him in the game, sure, but like, that's who you're going to play.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see some stuff
Yeah,
about
it
that.
was
I don't know.
interesting.
I know, whatever, you know.
Yeah, like I don't know. Bridgerton, I guess, just
Oh.
it's all fine.
Arcana show on Netflix is Magic Steampunk. I've been wanting to see that.
Oh, which one?
Arcane.
Oh,
I've heard it's really good.
Arcane is so good.
Yeah,
So
I-
good. I love that
I've
show.
been reliably informed I should watch it, and
Okay.
I at some point will.
We will definitely have to check it out. Brian suggests League of Extraordinary Gentlemen
Yes.
as steampunk.
I mean, that's
I would agree.
falls into the same kind of category as like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea because it's Captain Nemo.
I mean, I guess technically the when they tried to make the MonsterVerse, like that was steampunk.
Like when they remade The Mummy.
Yep.
Oh gosh, I still remember when the trailer for that came out, and we saw the trailer for it in the theaters, but the wrong audio file had come through that gave
Oh, it stripped all
Tom
the
Cruise
music
and gave Tom Cruise a female scream,
yeah.
and it was one of the weirdest
By the
things
way,
to watch
you can
ever.
find that. That's on YouTube
You can,
now.
you
if look it
can.
up. It's hilarious.
And I remember watching it the first time, being like, "That's a really weird trailer," and it was.
Oh, we should have reset the internet.
Oh gosh, yeah, we should have. Or I don't know, maybe the things you were saying. Let's see. So Thomas suggests Wild Wild West was a delightful TV show, sadly butchered by the film. I believe it. Let's make sure nothing here is locking up.
Or made better. Mm-hmm. There's a really good interview with Kevin Smith where he talks about, so whenever they were trying to make the
Batman, right?
Nicolas Cage Superman movie, there was a producer, this complete weirdo guy, but he was a kind of high up producer, and he'd been reading about tarantulas and how they're like this apex predator and
Yes.
super cool. And so he's wanting Superman to fight a tarantula. And then that movie ended up going like belly up. And so turns out that tarantula made it into the Wild Wild West, like fighting a giant tarantula.
That's why that's there?
Yes.
Amazing. Mandragora, there are only there are only so many post-apoc types. Mad Max, Waterworld, Fallout, The Last of
Yes.
Us, I Am Legend, never saw it. The rest are zombie, like The Walking Dead, because zombie hordes create apocalypses. Right, and it's like I really feel like zombies need a bit of a carve-out just because they are more of their own genre than the background.
Although in a way, I mean, I Am Legend, kind of, it's not quite a zombie movie. It's supposed to be, I guess, like a vampire movie. But
Yeah, it's supposed to be a vampire movie, but they made it more like zombies. Because
yeah.
I saw the original one also.
Yeah.
Incidentally, someone else told me today that Abigail's quite good.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I heard that too. I was not interested, but in much the way I wasn't interested in Megan, so maybe it's good.
I know, what is it? Red Letter Media seems to like it. But I don't know. Those guys, I don't always agree with their taste. So I don't know. But I hear it's at least not bad.
And I guess if you were to think of it from a wargaming perspective on the aesthetic thing, like 40K is way more post-apocalyptic than anything else.
Is it post-apocalyptic or just during
Apocalyptic.
the apocalyptic?
Yeah, like concurrently.
Present apocalyptic, is that the term?
Well, because 30K's kind of during the apocalypse, isn't it? I mean, that is the big war time. I feel like 40K is like the dust is sort of settled and there's
technically-
reclamations and the Crusades and all that.
No, technically it's the hell's it called? The war against AI that we had. That was the apocalypse.
Yeah,
Because
the
AI brought
dark
about
age
the
of
AI
technology.
apocalypse, and then even during 30K, we're sort of living in the post of that apocalypse. Like we're still in that weird era of technology. And
So you're never playing that game during when Men of Iron are still running around.
yeah, the men of iron and the men of gold and the men of stone and then the men of Play-Doh and I don't know,
And the
like all
Mennonites
the men of wood and the Mennonites. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't. As far as I'm aware, there's not like a Warhammer game that's set.
I was
during that.
expecting you to start going, Earth, Fire, Heart.
The Men of Heart.
Okay.
Who you kid got gypped.
Yeah, he really did. Like you get the sense that kid got. He was like, well, you can come too. Mr. Kyle, Wild Wild West. No, someone knows that movie.
Dude,
So
I
funny.
was
don't
really
know.
young and we saw that movie in the theaters.
I think I
So
saw that
bad.
in theaters.
Yeah, it's so bad. So bad.
Well, it was
We did
like
not.
after Men in Black, right?
Yes. So we're
It was
like,
just sort
Will
of that same
Smith.
story again, and yeah.
Mike confirms the Arcane show on Netflix is Magic Steampunk.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, good job. I love losing the chat. It's super fun. All right. Dark City was great. Nice Roland Rat username also. Yes, Roland. It's Dave Dog. Oh yeah, from the old days. But I got my account nuked due to foreign mobile phone, which was getting linked. Oh, like you got hacked? Oh my gosh, that's awful. That is literally the worst, and happens all the freaking time. Resident Evil considered zombie? Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
All the things Umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can fight zombies. Lots of zombies.
There's zombies, zombie dogs, zombie hulks.
Paul and I finished Resident Evil 5, which was really, really fun, like super fun. And then we started Resident Evil 6, and it feels so much more like a slog. Like, it felt like I'm in a Michael Bay movie, just going from action sequence to action sequence, one to the other, and then like the amazing Resident Evil dialogue that you get in between. But which is fine, except also each campaign is like 7 hours or something. And I'm like, okay, I don't think I can do this. I think we'll finish up this Leon Helena thing, but oh man, it's exhausting. So I think we'll be jumping into Revelations, or just play some Phasmo, or explore our Stardew Farm that I've been neglecting, because
Kador Farm.
Kador Farm, that's right. Kador Farm needs some love. I need to build my relationship with Krobus.
Krobus. Is he
he's-
friends with Scrotus and Rectus?
Okay, so Mad Max, Saga, Furiosa legit has those characters in that, and it is ridiculous. Oh yes, Don Johnson, thank you. Michael Vincent? The Dark Tower was slightly post-apocalyptic cowboy, or is the Dark Tower slightly post-apocalyptic cowboy or just horror? I definitely get a Western vibe from reading the book.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's kind of horror. I think it is more post-apocalyptic cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, more so than horror. I mean, horror is an element in it, but
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always mashups, but I think it's like, what's the predominant? Well, there's themes and there's aesthetic, I guess. But JP also, Damnation Alley, I actually don't know that one. Cowboys versus Aliens. Oh, we do not have to remember that movie.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed how terrible that was.
hey, that was filmed here.
I know. It was one of the early New Mexico flicks. Oof.
I love me a really, really bad cowboy movie, I have to say.
See, Cronenberg knows. It says A Boy and His Dog. Somebody, I think Mike was telling me that it was Don Johnson. He was trying to help me out.
Yeah, I had mentioned it. Rolando, talking TV editing movies. The U.S. did a special version of Dune, where at the start there was a long insert which was narrated which
Oh,
was
a
a
prelude
narrated
of
prelude
just-
with art.
Like art stills.
Oh, that's random. That's weird. Okay, I never saw that one on TV.
Would that have been the was it David Finch?
Yeah, David Lynch.
Lynch. God, I always mess their names up.
It's Lynch
David
and Fincher.
David Lynch.
Let's see. Remember when HK missiles had unlimited range and also ignored LOS? Good times.
Yeah.
I wish. No. I'm not going to get that benefit. But they are still pretty sweet if they hit. Needing a 4-up is scary. Mike, I have Gamma World. That's version 3. Okay. JP, there are 3
That's
box
the
sets.
box version that I had.
I guess.
Man, that was because I was a kid when I got that.
Yeah.
Like that would have been.
A little while ago.
I might have got that in like 1990 or something like that.
Let's see. There are 3 box sets. That was 3rd edition with the act chart, which was also used by the Marvel Heroes RPG and also by TSR.
Oh, okay.
Orlando, I have Gamma World 2.0 with the amazing map of Pittsburgh and Gamma World 3.0 also. Thomas, I have the original Gamma World and Metamorphosis Alpha. Oh my goodness.
Huh. I don't think I know that one.
Disney's animated Treasure Planet is very steampunk.
Yeah.
Says
I
Bree
have
Fred.
not seen that.
Really? I own that one, so
It looks cool. I just
Do
I think
the,
all of my Disney films are all like the not as big ones, not as well known.
would like the treasure hunting movies like Indiana Jones be steampunk? I
don't
feel
think
like the Tia Carrere Relic Hunter might have been pretty steampunk. I feel like the Laura Croft with Angelina Jolie movies or Tomb Raider movies were also steampunk, especially
no,
two.
all of those are like kind of a different genre altogether.
You don't think they link?
They had a lot of modern stuff on top of like
Yeah.
they're like the
Yeah, but
ancient
it was like-
stuff was more steampunk looking,
Yeah,
but
it was
it
like
definitely focused on like the modern appliances that she used.
I mean, like that really cool shot of her walking with her furry hood, and it's got like the Chinook taking off behind her and stuff. It's like that doesn't feel very steampunk.
Well, no, that isn't. But until she gets into a tomb and she's running around on the planetary thingy bopper, like that feels pretty
no,
steampunk.
that's a steampunk thing, but I don't know that I would call it.
What about Dark Crystal?
I think Dark Crystal is just fantasy.
Just straight fantasy, just traditional fantasy.
Well, I'm trying to think.
Because it's
Right?
like the Agra is the technology and the
Yeah.
Sure.
In fact, just Agra's place could kind of be that aesthetic, but
okay. JP 4th edition Gamma World uses an early form of what became the D20 system responsible for D&D 3 and 3.5.
oh, okay.
Chakaruba Metamorphosis Alpha. There's a blast from the past. Jeremy naming what's on the
And we got to the point of the chat where everybody's like telling us what it is, and we're like,
Obviously.
I don't know.
Flesh
And we're like
Ripper
looking it
Chords.
up, and everyone's like, it's this.
Sorry, you guys are great. I appreciate it. Mr. Kyle, I love Bridgerton. Thank you. It's definitely my guilty pleasure because I will not tell anyone it's good. You know, I'm not gonna pretend, but it is enjoyable. JP, my folks hated Knight's Tale. They said they turned it off 5 minutes in. Okay. Y'all talking like lore immersion matters, side eye. Yeah, who cares about that?
Well, it depends what you're in for, right? Like, last week we were here doing a book review of Gaunt's Ghost. There's a lot of people that are interested in that.
One moment. Yeah, it should be working now. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see here. Did you guys hear Mac Attack talk about Eldar? Did you guys hear that? Mac Attack Super Checks. He put that in. So he said, I'm such an old war gamer. I remember when Dark Eldar and 40K did not suck. And I don't know dealing with any of them. All right, how about now? All right, all my stats say this should work. So let me know.
This is like the one where I didn't bring my headphones. So usually I have headphones on. So usually I have headphones to monitor and make sure audio is going.
Mm-hmm. But we should. I'm just waiting for someone to actually respond that we have sound. But there's more of a.
Yeah, I can hear sound.
A gap.
So now I just sort of have to have my phone here where it's kind of playing, but it's easy to miss if it's not making sound. I was trying to listen for it.
Sorry, guys. All right. Where was I? Okay, cool. So, once again, I'll read it for a third time because I want to make sure Mac Tech's heard. So, I'm such an old war gamer. I remember when Dark Eldar and 40K did not suck. And my response to that was like several years ago, and I think it was 7th edition. I was fighting against Dark Eldar.
It was like 6th or something.
There's no way it was 6th. No way.
How is there no way?
There's just no way. We didn't play. You showed me how to play the game in 5th edition. Pretty sure we completely skipped over 6th. 7th edition was the new hotness at the time, and that's when I started going to AI to play that instead of War Machine, or in addition to War Machine.
6th edition's when you played Sisters of Battle against Blood Angels, and then just one.
5th edition.
I think like one dreadnought killed like your whole army.
Yeah. That was with the sweeping advance ruler, just like mulched across the board, and I was like, well, this is fun. Look at me having no agency at all. Glad they're so good at balancing rules. Good thing they got so much better, huh?
Speaking of lore, like, I don't think I would play 40K without the lore because the mechanics are not great.
No, like I don't think the mechanics save it at all. The aesthetic of it is a huge part, but no, not for yeah. So, all right, hopefully we're caught up on that. Oh, excuse me. Let me get back to some of the older chat here. Rolando, I didn't like the 2004 King Arthur with Keira Knightley and Clive Owen. They had King Arthur as a Roman soldier. I don't think we've watched that.
Yeah, I've seen. I know I've seen it, and that was the whole idea. It was like this kind of going theory a little bit of like, oh, well, it was all because like the whole the culture of like the kind of the knightly order and everything. They kind of took that as the idea of a remnant of the Roman Empire, and that's what built up the idea of King Arthur and Excalibur and all that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't follow any of the King Arthur lore or any of that stuff. Like even when we watched The Green Knight, which was like that weird A24 take on some old poem, I think. It didn't mean very much to me, and I just realized, like, oh yeah, the whole Knights of the Round Table and King Arthur, like, pretty sure most of what I learned about that was kind of from, like, Monty Python.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
It's not reliable information. Cool new miniature agnostic game Death Wizards from Snarling Badger Studios. Necromancers and their undead minions. Now, do they have a lore with that? Like...
Probably to some. I bet they have at least like a setting, right? Like Space Station Zero or something like that. They are Death Wizards, spelled DETH.
Yeah, that's what Thomas was saying. In fact, it's the Seth Wizard 5. Paul, I've read through I Am Legend. It's great, only about 200 pages. But yeah, there are more vampires in the book. They can talk and function normally, kinda. Rolando, yeah, Warhammer 40K had its own Dune, Butlerian Jihad.
Yeah, it's a very similar sort of thing. In Dune, there's a point where like AI and everything got all crazy. That's why in Dune, like everything's kind of anti-tech, even though they have tech. It's very 40K in that way.
Are you
Or
saying
the
that
other way
40K may have lifted information and ideas?
No, all of their
Or entire
intellectual property
things.
belongs to them, and they need to guard it.
That's right. You can tell how honest it is by how well they guard it.
They have never stole anything. How dare you?
How dare you? I also saw Wild Wild West at the cinema. Oh, man. Rolando, who here dreads the day when it's, hey, Grandma, what's a movie theater?
God.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I remember years
don't think
ago-
that's going to happen because I don't think I'm going to reach the grandma point, but okay.
I remember years ago, I was at the theater with my daughter, and we were watching some sort of, it was like a detective movie or something, but it's like set, you know, in, I don't know, the 50s or 60s or something. But either way, there's something written in a matchbook. Mm-hmm. And I remember my daughter leaned over, she's like, what is that? I was like, huh. She didn't know
Yeah.
what a matchbook was.
I mean, yeah. It's entertainment. It's hard to get rid of entertainment. I mean, why do we still have, theaters you physically go to watch actors prancing around on stage? Like, it's old and
Yeah,
we still
well,
do
it's
it.
the one thing I'll say is when movies and cinema and all that stuff started, it started in theaters. Mm-hmm. And it's the one thing that, I mean, you look at television, television's kind of come and gone. You look at VHS, you look at DVDs, Blu-rays, like physical media in general, kind of come and gone. Although you should always buy everything on physical media. Huge
Agreed.
proponent of that. But the one thing that has persisted from the very beginning of movies is the movie theater, and it's still there. It's not doing great right now.
No, in fact, I think we have seen, in the last month anyway, we've seen more of them bringing old movies back where we'll pay retail at the cinema to
yeah.
rewatch the 40th anniversary of Alien or the 25th anniversary of The Mummy or the
Nausicaa.
40th. I can't remember what year it was for the Nausicaa,
yeah,
but
I
it was
don't know.
old. It was an old one too.
But yeah,
So
I would
saw
go
those.
see lots of old movies at the theater. But yeah, Alien was really cool to see. And what is it? My birthday's coming up, and we're going to go see the Muppet movie.
Oh, yeah, I should probably book that.
So
The Muppet movie. Yeah, so it's like we don't even care what's in the theaters now. And we saw Furiosa, which
Well,
was okay. And
I liked Furiosa more than you did, I think.
you definitely liked it more than me. I didn't dislike it, which seems to be an accusation you're giving me, but it just wasn't like that interesting.
I'm just waiting for Furiosa Gorka Morka, right? That should just be the title of the movie.
I mean, I would watch
Forget
that for
Fury
science.
Road.
For sure. Hi, Illinois Farmer. Welcome, welcome. Let's see, Rolando. So did I at the Warner Brothers Cinema in Leicester Square, London. I thought it sucked, but it was so much fun. Everybody in Wild Wild West. Oh my goodness.
Man, there's a lot of memories of Wild Wild West that we've stirred up just now. Many of them
know, but
fond,
it's
many of
true.
them not so fond.
Rolando, I was thinking about that the other day. The Terminator is a sci-fi movie, not a roadmap for human civilization. What are you talking about? Like, we're just all in on AI. It's like, how soon can we just have it run our lives and give all control over to it?
Ooh, I was watching a video actually recently. There was what is it called? Ablative resources? I'm trying to remember the new
Ablative, okay.
military term for it, but it's so there's the idea that there's a picture of one. It's like this manta ray looking submarine that's an AI, and it literally it'll go swim over to the coastline of some place and just sit there and turn off and wait for further instructions. So there's not like a crew on board.
Yeah, it's
there.
just...
And so whenever you tell it to activate, it can activate, go up and torpedo a vessel, right? But it's just sitting there laying in wait. There's also drones, like jet drones, because it's not the F-35, it's like, it might be the F-35 for all I know. It's either way, whatever the new, next generation jets are, there's one pilot that goes up, and then like 5 or 6 AI piloted drones that go with them. They're called something wingman, like loyal wingman or something like that, which means it's literally like Tau drones. And so they'll take hits for you, or they'll actually go ahead. Like the F-35 acts less like a fighter plane and more like an AWACS at that point, where he's just telling the drones what to go do.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's kind of a new state of warfare. And so yeah, as far as like the whole what is it? Terminator future. It's like, no, we're designing AI-powered fighting vehicles. We're real smart. We're doing that.
I'm sure there's no risks to that at all.
No.
I mean,
Especially-
being able to send remote signals to your own guys, I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Definitely they should attach them to the internet, though.
Oh,
That's
most
important.
certainly.
Which they will do, I'm sure.
Oh, gosh. There's probably just, I mean, it has its own internet, I'm sure, right? That's the part that'll get hacked.
The important thing is you just cannot allow AI to have access to power generators, right? Because it has to be, what is it, like a dead man switch, right? If they kill us, then they don't get power anymore.
They're at least on a timeline.
That's right. So there's always, like, you have to make yourself where they can't kill you or their power goes away.
Chuckarubub says F-22 and F-35.
Oh, is it both? Okay.
So, no big deal. Mr. Kyle, have you played Resident Evil 7? One of the best video game experiences I've ever had. I have not. I will only play a Resident Evil game if it has multiplayer because I am a chicken and can't play scary games. Even goofy scary games like Resident Evil. So, there's that. JP Garag, there's this whole generation entering kindergarten that may never have been to a movie theater, seen a movie on DVD, played a game that wasn't electric or electronic, never played outside, etc. Well, that's just cruelty.
That is just bad parenting.
Yeah, like you failed as a parent. Sorry, that's literally like how you're raising your kid to just never leave the house. You're just gonna have like this brittle, frail child. Because even just playing outside like strengthens your bones and like gives you some degree of pigment in your skin and like vitamin D. I hear it's helpful.
Teaches you a perspective in the world. Oh, Jeremy's got it here.
Love and Monsters is a great post-apocalyptic movie.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I
It
like
was
that one
charming.
quite a lot.
It's quite good. JP, less Terminator and more Colossus, the Forbidden Project. Colossus, the Forbidden Project. Huh. For a second, I thought you meant the art film Colossal, which different. Anne Hathaway, really good actually. It's weird, but it's so good.
Oh, it's great. Colossal's a wonderful movie. I like that one a lot.
Colossus, I don't know at all.
I don't either.
Have to find out. Mr. Kyle, Paul, I played Resident Evil 7. Hated it, unfortunately. We're gonna finish the Leon section of 6, then switch to Resi Revelations 2, possibly. Yeah, probably.
Also, to clarify, Colossal, what we're talking about, is a robot versus kaiju movie.
It is.
So
It's just like
you should check it out and not watch the trailer at all.
yeah, don't do that. Let's see, Mike. Marvel Superheroes was act plus face rip. Great game? I don't know what you're talking about. Do you know?
I don't.
Okay, sorry, man. Brock Oliver Lee. Morning, all. Finally get to catch a stream. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Mr. Kyle, why, Paul? Why would you hate Resident Evil 7? I don't know. JP, Indiana Jones would be more pulp adventure, maybe leaning into diesel punk. The Rocketeer would be diesel punk.
Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Is it diesel punk? Huh. Okay. Because I think, so Mad Max is also diesel punk.
Yes. Like post-apocalyptic diesel
Yeah.
punk. Yeah, like what is it? The Car Wars game and like Gaslands and stuff are all kind of that too, right?
Yeah. Well, also, what is it? Conflict 47 is diesel
Yeah,
punk.
the Warlord game.
Yeah, and so was, the hell's that other one called? The one that was similar, that we liked a lot, actually.
Dust.
Dust was very diesel punk.
Yeah, Dust was that's true. And I think part of that diesel punk was maybe the pinup like elements of it.
Sort of. That's more the World War II, honestly. But it's like they're proper diesel engines, right? It's not everything's run on steam power and levers and gears. It's like no, it's actually everything's running on diesel engines and just motors and all that. Even though it is also very fantastic.
Jeremy giving me grief in the chat. Miranda's brain, He-Man and Masters of the Universe is steampunk with that broad of a category. Meh, no one asked you.
That's right. Miranda knows all about She-Ra. She'll tell you.
I know a little about She-Ra. I know way more about Xena. And Xena was just straight up fantasy, even though there was also weird technologies. But most of it ran on magic and gods.
Well, I guess if we're going into categories, Xena is what? Sword and sandals?
Yeah, that's
Which
right. I
is
have
a
heard that
category.
phrase. That's right. Yeah, because
I mean,
of the
Conan
Roman
is technically
Greek.
sword and sandals.
What is?
Conan.
Okay, yeah. Really? Well, then what's the difference between that and sword and sorcery?
It's the amount of magic in it, I think. Because sword and sandals is very like barbarian, or, I mean, technically all the what is it, the biblical movies they constantly put out are kind of sword and sandal.
Okay, fair enough.
There's some magic in those.
He's so sad. Mandragora, my problem with Mad Max is that the series is impossible past 5 to 10 years. Look at The Walking Dead. Gas stations are empty within a week. No way there's oil for roadsters and maniacs in Australia.
So, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, they do talk about it. So, in like Fury Road and the new ones, they have, Gastown? But in Bartertown, they were actually creating fuel from methane. That's why they had all the pigs. So, they weren't pumping oil or doing that anymore. They're actually making methane-powered vehicles.
Oh,
And they're
okay, so
using
they
pig
swapped
crap
it.
to do it.
Yeah, and you've got to kind of give it a little leeway, but you got to give it a little
very
leeway in that it's
fantastic.
organized enough to function that way.
No,
but-
you just, it's very fantastic. Let's just be real here.
Yes. All right, let's see here. Let's get past all the sound problems we had here. JP, well,
There's
Eldar...
so many of these gone again, back again,
I
gone again,
know.
back again.
I'm so sorry. Like, one problem after another. JP, well, Eldar are just elves in space, and those of us who subscribe to Tabletop Minions, elves are the ick. Are they? Yes, elves in space, dwarves in space. I mean, it's a fun mashup, though. Let's see. I refresh now. Gosh, we want to actually refresh.
So it was, remember we were watching in the AOL YouTube stream was saying that the stream was very poor for a little bit and then went back. So that might have caused like some trouble there. In fact,
We're
it's
just
saying
doing
it
again
now.
now. Yeah, so
That's great.
We'll see what happens. Jeremy, Sweeping Advance was 5th edition. Told you. Clive Owen, King Arthur had a more historical feel. It was inspired by some scholarly works. All right, fair enough.
You said it was 7th, by the way.
Well, when I was playing, no, I didn't say it was 7th edition for Sweeping Advance. I said it was 7th edition when I was facing Dark Eldar, and I felt like
I
they
see.
were really, really powerful at that time.
Okay.
5th edition, I only ever played that one horrible game against Dreadnought. I'm like, War Machine's so much better.
I mean,
Which
the
is-
rules definitely are.
Yeah, it's probably still true. But anyway. Did you tell Tommy about the Slash Deathstalker movie? And now I cry every night as I go to sleep. What are you talking
know.
about? You said you're just going to make 6th now. It's fine.
I know. It's too bad.
I mean, don't begrudge Slash his
I
enjoyment.
don't, but it doesn't mean that I didn't want to do a Deathstalker movie. And am kind of surprised that I don't know. I have no idea what he picked up the intellectual property for. I'd be real curious.
Like how much?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'd love to know that info. Just like, so what does something like this go for?
Well, I remember we were talking about that with like the Crow intellectual property, and we'd watched like Crow 5 or 6 or something crazy. It had like David Boreanaz in it, the kid from Terminator 2, and like Dennis Hopper, and it was just this horrible low budget movie. And I was like,
I mean, now it's going to be a horrible high budget movie.
Well, but at the time, it was like, God, what's the IP for this got to go for now? Like $5, right? Like they'd really run it into the ground. But yeah, now they're remaking it, and as far as I can tell, it's a straight remake. Which, go away. Like,
Yeah, I don't think the
do
culture-
The Brandon Lee movie,
I don't think the current culture can inhabit what the original Crow was
well,
or understand it. So
like that Crow. Like I mean, the Crow can be set in feudal Japan. The Crow can be set in
it's
like science fiction future. It can be set all over. But if you're gonna try to tell this story again, it's like it's such a 1990s story and movie and everything. Just no.
yeah.
It's so weird. It's like, well, we need to get rid of that Brandon Lee guy. It's old now. We need to replace it. It's like, what the hell are you thinking?
Like, yeah, let's replace it with the Joker.
We
Not
got
even
a
the good one.
super chat here from Mac Attack. Did I already drop Ashton Forbes MH370 videos on you guys? I can't remember. Want to know more? He's on YouTube. Okay.
Ashton Forbes.
We'll have to check that one out.
I'm not familiar with that.
Make a note. Notepad. Ashton Forbes. MH370.
I think it's Forbes. You have Bobby's.
Forbes. Thank you. At least Wild Wild West had a good soundtrack. Rolando, spoiler alert, rather short. I Am Legend and Minority Report books are different and better than the movies. I really liked the Minority Report movie, and I haven't read the books of either of those. And I know usually people feel the books are better than the movies. There are 2 examples I have where I feel it's the opposite, but I don't know. I definitely heard multiple times, like, I Am Legend definitely sounds worth reading because they've tried to remake that or make it into a movie multiple times.
Oh, wait, what is it? Talented Mr. Ripley and what else?
Stardust, Neil Gaiman.
Oh yeah, even Neil Gaiman agrees that the movie's better.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mandragora, also, this seems the perfect time to have this argument online. Who else thinks Will Smith isn't a rap star? He's a pop artist. WWW, Miami, getting jiggy with it, Men in Freaking Black, they're pop. Well, let's see. Was he a rapper when he was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air before those big hits?
Well, he was a rapper before he was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fine, that's the only way I knew him, but okay.
I knew him from him and DJ Jazzy Jeff. And
Funky
who would come on at, what was his name? Cockroach or Roach or something like that? Like, DJ Jazzy Jeff played a character in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was like his friend from Philadelphia or something like that would show up every so often. He was in the TV show. You probably have seen him.
Probably.
But yeah, I remember, what is it? I Think I Can Beat Mike Tyson and Parents Just Don't Understand and all that, which technically is rap, but it's very pop. I get the argument and I don't disagree with
You
it.
say more it's hip hop than it is.
Well, is hip-hop just the pop version of rap?
It's kind of a broader genre that rap falls within,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. That is a fair question. I guess I could definitely see it more being pop, yeah. On account of its reach and his stylings being more, I guess, universally palatable.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Well, that's what pop is.
I guess more palatable to a broad audience.
Right, a
Yes.
broad audience.
Well, you didn't add that last, so you're just palatable as opposed to that rap stuff.
Universally,
No.
universly palatable, she said, but
Yeah, universally palatable is what I meant to be, like, the broader
Yeah,
audience, yeah. I'm not just picking on rap. Like, I don't like most rap, but there's some good stuff out there, in my opinion. Let's see, Mandragora, Will Smith raps? Kidding. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah. Sounds like the consensus is probably more that. Ryan George has a sketch about Will Smith with his woos and ha-has.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, check that one out. Ryan George is a delight to listen to. Mac Attack, if you're talking about scary future, imagine the U.S. government having developed black hole weapons. Well, I mean, that's kind of what the Large Hadron Collider was supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
It was supposed to smash atoms and create teeny tiny little black holes, and we just are pretty sure it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because if you follow the actual scientific process, you only have degrees of certainty and not absolute authority, which is, why science shouldn't be a religion and, that whole thing of believe the science, which is like this antithetical to science statement that just makes me cringe every time I hear it. Anyway, yes, random side note. Black holes, yeah. Well, that wouldn't be a problem for very long, so.
Paul went into Colossal Blind. That's
I
great.
recommend it also. It's so good to do it that way.
It's a good movie.
That's old Marvel face rip fighting. I can't remember the rest. Pete's Fried Chicken face rip was the original Marvel Heroes. Am I saying it right? Phaser rip? I just keep saying face rip, which just sounds like a terrible thing to do to someone. But
Sounds
like a verb.
Mortal Kombat move.
it does. More than like Marvel. So, sorry about that. JP, having developed a black hole weapon as though they haven't already, right? Paul, I forgot to reply because the audio was dropping. Mr. Kyle, the mood was too different for me in Resident Evil 7. But I also got the rare healing scene at the start where you get your leg chopped off. Ah! And then he just sticks his leg back on. That took me out of the story completely. Though now the why, how it happened. What are you talking about? You believe, but Paul, you love Wesker. And Wesker is ridiculous. Wesker is One of the most ridiculous characters in all of Resident Evil. I know why you like him. And yes, he's very cool, but he's so cool that it's like he does things that makes no sense. He can almost fly. Like it's like he's a vampire. It's like he's a vampire and a zombie and all the superhero villains. I don't know. He's ridiculous. Anyway, I love you. JP, Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow is definitely Diesel Punk, very Crimson Skies.
Yeah.
What was the other one? The Spirit? That was like kind of a similar time frame as Sky Captain, but that's just more straight noir, huh?
Yeah, that's pulp. Sky Captain's a complete, like, original fabrication. It was an animator that had done it. And I remember he had made a short and shopped that around first. And I remember, I think it's Gwyneth Paltrow's in it. And she had seen the short, and they're like, well, do you want, we can send you the script. And she was like, I don't care, I'll be in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, just like the style enough?
The style was so cool and original. She's like, I don't care what the script is, I'll just be in it.
I know Angelina Jolie's in it. I don't remember Gwyneth Paltrow in it so much, but it's been a long time. Like, I don't remember anything about that movie either.
Oh, you know, she's like a bad guy, right? She's near the end.
She's got an eye patch.
Yeah. Okay.
You can tell. You're a badass if you're a chick with an eye patch. Thomas, I read Colossus, the Phobin Project, ages ago, the second Colossus. Mac Attack, you actually get to see a flying airplane disappear. Oh my goodness. Mr. Kyle, well, I played RE1, 2, 3, and then 7. Loved it because it brought the horror back strong, more than being an action game, I guess. Yeah, I haven't played 4, although I guess I own it, and then 5 I did enjoy, but it's definitely less scary, which is probably why I could play it, although I really did not like the Lickers and their reimagining, and no way on God's green earth I will play RE2, the remake or the original, by myself. But, yeah, we'll see. Paul, I think I've played every RE game ever, even the Game Boy Advance game. Oh my gosh, I remember that. Let's see. Hi, We're Gaming Girl. Hi, Flo. Love those minis. Yeah, they're really cool, right? Those corpse grinders. Obviously from the Flash Ripper courts, as everybody knows. It's fine. It's fine. Pizza fried shred chicken. Blah, blah, blah. Hey guys, ordered my Dark Tide board game. Looking forward to playing it and working on some custom content if GW don't expand it. Played RE3 Nemesis, but I prefer Silent Hill. Silent Hill is just
amazing.
Well, Silent Hill 2, I think, is the best. And I am worried a little bit about this remake that's getting ready to come out for for Silent Hill 2, because like they lost all their original voice actors because of a rights issue, and they're redoing a bunch of stuff. They're redoing the combat system, which part of why Part of why Silent Hill 2 works so well is because of how scary like fighting stuff could be, and you really, really had to kind of decide if you were going to waste resources fighting a monster or not. And I do worry that's going to make it too combat driven. And if that's the case, it really takes a lot of the horror out because you're just running around beating things up. And if you can beat everything up, you're less afraid of stuff. And you don't want to go the opposite way like Shattered Memories did, where you can't do anything and all you do is run away, and then you just get pissed off because like it repeats the scenes if you fail them, and you have to like hide in a certain way. And I don't know. I watched you play Shattered Memories, and we both got bored with it.
Snow one, the ice one.
Yeah, like you were totally safe until ice happened, and then you're like, okay, this is the scary moment.
Well,
and it's so telegraphed.
No, it takes away all scariness because you go, oh, so when there's not ice everywhere, I'm fine and nothing jumps out at me. And then when there's ice everywhere, you're like, oh, okay, things are gonna fight me. So it just becomes action more than horror.
But then you also don't have any agency in the action. All you can do is hide. What were you gonna say?
You lose all the suspense.
Right.
Yeah, there's no suspense at all.
Like RE2, Chef's, or RE2, my God. RE2 honestly is probably one of the best Resident Evil games. And the remake is really solid. But Silent Hill 2, quite the chef's kiss. And I don't think they've been able to recapture that magic at all since then. It was also my favorite story. I totally got into all of it. Let's see here. RE5 does a good mix of action and horror, but more towards the end. More action toward the end. Yeah, that's very true. Paul, gaming. I listen to the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack while painting at times. Great game. I used to go to sleep to the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack. I listened to it constantly. Like, video game soundtracks and movie soundtracks were the thing that I typically listened to more than albums as a kid, and, well, not so much now. I just don't listen to much now other than, like, podcasts or whatever.
Anybody ever play Fatal Frame?
Oh, yeah. I watched my brother play Fatal Frame and Fatal Frame 2. I had a really crazy dream that I wrote down after Fatal Frame 2 of, like, I don't know, this whole thing happening. But, yeah. Fatal Frame was cool. It had a really cool grudge, like, Japanese schoolgirl aesthetic, right? You take the pictures of the ghosts to capture them, and there's different qualities of film you get to
But they're all limited in the amount that you can get of each one.
Mm-hmm. You've got to ration your resources. So it was a cool way of fighting ghosts. Let's see here. I thought it was Jazzy Jeff.
It is Jazzy Jeff.
Oh, DJ Jazzy Jazz. That's what Jeremy's saying. Saying The Crow is garbage anyways. Just can't not be antagonistic, can ya? JP, so did you catch the build and play last night? Dave Taylor speaks with Hank and Matthias about the new Adepticon venue. Holy molasses, it's huge. He's showing pics and maps. I haven't. Oh, that's interesting. I will have to take a look at that. Yeah, I saw the clip of the new Silent Hill 2 combat. It looked very RE4/5.6. Indeed. Audio is popping for me. I wonder if it's just me making noises. Sorry. But the new venue for Adepticon does look interesting. I have not booked my hotel for it, and apparently the whole hotel is already booked out.
Let me reset it.
Okay, we're going to reset sound. Oh my goodness. There we go.
It should be
Should I
back,
lift
I
up the
think.
camera a little?
Well, I think you can push it in. I think you could push this in a little bit because there's still a lot in the foreground yet.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. And then let's get that bad boy in focus. Yes, I think that applies just fine.
Yeah,
Yay.
so parts of that thing were already painted, but then we got the back door on it and the turret and the little...
The Stormbolter, flames out of the side of his head, all the flames happening. And his
the little
armored
dozer
tracks,
blade.
there's no dozer blade on the data sheet, but it came with the model and I'm slapping it on there.
That's right.
I paid for it, it's going on. So, yes. Jeremy may pick up some crops grinders at some point. Really? Some crops grinders? Is it? I watched Gab Smulders
Just
play
a
Fatal
milling
Frame.
stone.
Yeah, it's just literally a farming simulator.
The crops grinders.
Can you imagine playing a tabletop game that's a farming simulator? I feel like that does not translate well
Like,
at
there's
all.
a lot of like board games.
That would be a
are
board
probably
game for
that.
sure, yeah.
Although a competitive board game, right, where you have to you have to simulate your farm harder
You do
than
know they
your
have a
opponent.
Stardew Valley board game, right?
I did hear about that, but I can't imagine you are, like, it's going to be just more like card resources and getting multipliers or something. Like, there's no way you're tending crops, I would assume. I don't know. Anyway. So, what did we think of Furiosa? Disembodied voice.
I liked it. Things that I thought would probably annoy me in the new one actually didn't. Whatever it is, that trailer that they had, everything looked CG, just
It
terrible.
did look way more CG than the movie. The trailer did look way more CG coded.
Whereas the movie, it's like, no, it looked all right, it looked fine. And then the actual story is interesting enough. Trying to think of what you'd really say about it, because it's like, it's not like, I mean, so Fury Road is a little bit more action packed and all that sort of stuff, but it's not like the story to Mad Max Fury Road was any deeper than the story to Furiosa. I mean, it is just a chain of
But
events.
how deep are even the
they're
Mad
all
Max stories?
character driven, right? Well, so I think the first one is probably the most like just Mad Max is like actually character driven, but whereas the rest, I mean they're all technically character driven, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like These are more spectacle driven, I guess, is what I would call it. Do you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I mean, the characters are motivated to do things throughout it, so it's not character driven at all, but it's not as much as original.
Okay. I'm trying to remember, like, we didn't rewatch Fury Road or anything recently, and I guess this movie is coming out like 9 years after Fury Road, which is kind of wild to think of that much time passing. But
it's 9 years, and it's a prequel. And so, like, a lot of the characters, he just recast them.
Well, yeah.
And so you're like, well, okay.
But it kind of feels like the Black Widow sequel, or the Black Widow movie when she finally got her movie, which was after Avengers Endgame. And you're like, okay.
So well, that one was fatalistic just because you knew her ending. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember whenever we watched Dollhouse? It was another Joss Whedon production.
Yes, and they got notified of being canceled. They got to the end of the first season, and I don't know for sure, but I really feel like they thought it was going to get canceled. So they went ahead and jumped to the end so they could have an ending. And then it seemed like they were greenlit, like, hey, you have another season. And they're like, oh, great. So now that we've told you how it's going to end, like, now I guess we're going to proceed as though half the cast didn't die. And it's just like this whole, like, do what you want, I guess. I know your terrible fate. And so I was wondering if they're going to do that, because she has the seed that she carries around, right, from the place of plenty. In Furiosa, so yeah, I guess so, that's a spoiler.
But there's this whole thing of, like, I'm going to go back to it. And it's like, no, you're not, because I know you haven't gone back to it, because I've seen Mad Max Fury Road. And so, like, what she does with it at the end is like, oh, okay, so she plants her seed somewhere, but which I thought was kind of But they didn't lean too much on her actually trying to make it to the place of plenty.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, if that would have been her whole goal, the whole movie, I think I'd have been annoyed, because I'm like, we've seen Fury Road. We know she has not ever gone back.
Yeah, like, don't wax on about it too much. Yeah, like, I think it's like I can't really pinpoint anything I dislike specifically. There just wasn't anything that I really, like, connected with, or was just like, oh yeah, that's really cool. For the most part, I was like, okay. Like, I've seen a lot of this before. We were commenting on, so there's, of course, a ton of high action shots, you know, big rigs driving and these, you know, jury-rigged kind of vehicles with weapons on sticks and bombs and all that, like, chasing them. And so there's multiple fight scenes of that. Everyone's aim is, like, deadly accurate in this movie.
Well, you see most action movies, and because, you know, a lot of explosions are practical, at least especially for the original Mad Max and Terminator and all that stuff, it would be like, oh, I throw a bomb and it blows up near the main character in their vehicle because
you don't want to blow up your actor.
Yeah, because you can't blow up actors. So there's action, but it's like you're used to just most explosions missing, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas in this movie, every explosive Molotov cocktail, stick bomb, everything,
every bullet, every harpoon, every whatever. Nails its target.
And you're like,
everybody's running around on fire.
Well, it felt very CG in that moment where you're like, wow, you're just watching the trajectory of everything hit. It'd be like if you watched a basketball game and everyone just threw 3-pointers the whole time and all of them swished. And you're like, I don't believe this. Like, these are even professional guys that throw a ball for a living, and you miss sometimes, but not Mad Max, not Furiosa. Like, or anyone in Furiosa.
Any of the war boys, or any of the bad guys, or any of the whatevers. And I did not like Chris Hemsworth's nose.
I suspect that was one of the major reasons.
It could be. It really puts you out. You're just like,
Miranda believes he is a beautiful man and needs not be sullied by a nose.
I definitely hated Dad Bod Thor. Like,
or a fat body.
I gasped out loud in the theater when I saw that. I was like, no! All the men liked it. But anyway. Whatever. It's fine. No, it just, I don't know. It was fine. It's going to be one of those, I mean, I say it's a forgettable movie for me, but apparently I forget every freaking movie after like 2 years. But it just, it's a fun movie. It really did feel too long. It's 2.5 hours. I feel like if it was a half an hour shorter, I would have enjoyed it for how much story there is.
Well, I was going to say, knowing you, I do think it was the runtime. It's, what is it, 2 hours, 28 minutes, 27 minutes,
I mean, it's
something like that? 2.5
hours.
And it's like, it's too much. And for a movie that's mostly action with a story in it, like 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours.
If you have a
What was
lot
I
of story
watching?
you're
Oh,
talking about.
I was going over Scream, the movie, 90s movie Scream. And it's like, and it's a horror movie, you know, which is what action falls into as well. Like an epic movie, something like Lord of the Rings is different, but just an action movie, like 2 hours is kind of top end, right? Like I think of something like Terminator 2, right? Or Aliens. Aliens is pretty good. You get into the halfway point of the movie, and it is a nonstop action adventure, like action romp at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think once the runtime goes over 2 hours and gets closer to 2.5 and goes up, it's like it's too much.
Paul remembers me ranting about Dad Bod Thor. It was offensive to my sensibilities. Come on. Real quick, just going back to the chat. Mandragora, sword and sandal versus sword and sorcery. The difference is classical era versus medieval era.
Yes.
Conan does a lot of medieval stuff like castles, chainmails, and crossbows, but it's mostly Greco-Roman world. Okay.
Yeah,
Sword
and I
sandal.
agree. That's why it's like Xena and Hercules is more sword and sandals.
Okay. Yeah. I can
Bible
see that.
epics.
Bible epics, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, Paul has the Stardew Valley board game on Tabletop Simulator. I cannot get into Tabletop Simulator. It's
Although, if I ever play Gaslands, I am building a Stardew Valley prison bus, which was a great game that came out.
It's not. Mr. Kyle, I played Fatal Frame. I had the same feeling you mentioned, where you're a tiny girl, but you hope ghosts appear so you can combo kill them. I haven't scared at all. I played Fear at the same time. Goodness. In Fear, you're an army soldier, full with all sorts of weapons, but there's nothing you can do against the telepathic psycho girl, so much scarier, to me at least. Yeah, helplessness definitely adds an element to it. I never played Fear. I don't know that, or I never watched. Like my brother was the one who played all the scary games. I don't think he played Fear. He might message me later and be like, "Yes, I did," but I don't think so. Super awesome tank. I know, my Chimera. He's so pretty. So I'm gonna have a
Painted.
fully
We didn't
painted.
get the Alex Jones clip that
We
we're supposed
do.
to play every time. They're making chimeras.
Just get, well, you can, yes, that would be fun. I need to have that. But I am excited that I will have a fully painted army for this weekend. Jeremy, how was that antagonistic? I stated my opinions. I really dislike that movie, and I have no clue how it got so many sequels. You have no clue how Crow got so many sequels?
Because it's a really good movie.
Yeah, you're just wrong, Jeremy. Just objectively wrong. Anyway.
Well, I mean, again, we talk about it, right? Like, if there's a difference between liking and not liking a movie, and a movie being good. Oh, and also, I
That's
mean,
also true.
there's a certain point where you can even claim that a movie is culturally relevant,
Yeah,
right? Like, it has a cultural footprint.
right.
And so if it does that, then it's going to get sequels.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is a fair statement. Wow, my video is so choppy. It's just not recovering.
No, we should have reset the internet.
Let's see. Jeremy, a few things work on Tabletop Simulator, so if you know how to code the game right, play Talisman on there, and the Conan board game every once in a while, and they work really well. I did play, no, I played the video game version of Talisman. That was what happened there. But, I don't know. I'm thinking we might need to kill the stream early, given the, I mean, it looks like this constantly.
So far, I haven't seen it. On
Really?
Here, like,
I don't know. Is the chat, is the
all right,
audio?
chat, let us know. Is this buffering and like being too choppy?
Yeah, because if it's really horribly choppy, then I may just end it. I'm sorry. There's so many things we have to do, like, worship the machine spirit and incense things properly before we start the stream. And if you don't do everything in exactly the right order, we just get chaos. So it's a whole thing. But all that to say, Furiosa, I'm sure you'd recommend seeing it. If you're into it. If you liked Mad Max.
Probably compared to what else is out, it's not a bad one to go see. And yeah, if you enjoyed Mad Max Fury Road, there's no reason you wouldn't enjoy this.
Yeah. If you enjoyed Fury Road, yeah, I think so. Although I definitely like Fury Road a lot better. But keeping that in mind, that was 9 years ago, like when I saw that movie. So the other thing to kind of keep in mind is like where my sensibility's gone. It's like when we watch movies, when we rewatched Predators, we were both like, this is so much better than we remembered. Like,
Yeah.
we did not care for it very much in the theaters. And then watching it again, we're like, this is probably the second best Predator movie.
Oh, your video camera has.
Yeah, I just fixed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I caught it. Wasn't there meant to be a remake of The Birds? Did they just abandon that? I hope they did.
Yeah, I don't even know the point of
Maybe.
that. No, they didn't. They did remake. It's called Birdemic.
Birdemic, huh?
It's Alfred Hitchcock's Birdemic.
Yes. Why is this? I shouldn't still be frozen. No, I should not still be frozen. There's such a lag. My goodness. Anyway, yeah, we don't need to see a remake of that. They're already remaking The Crow. I don't know. We saw the Beetlejuice trailer. That one might be okay. Yeah,
I'll
check
see.
Rebecca's.
There's a lot of member berries in that, so.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a trailer, so they really could have just distilled them down.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
When it comes out, we'll watch it and let you guys know.
That's when I'm also like, I'd like to see it, but I'm also not about to hold my breath.
Fair enough. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the video is getting any better, so, and if it's just choppy like this, which it is for everybody, then it's probably really annoying to watch. So.
I think Paul's got it right. He says he loves Predators. It's his second favorite. I agree. I think it's better than Predator 2.
Although I just
Supposedly that's sacrilege and it's a hot take and everything, but I don't know why. It's like, I guess, I mean, it's got Lance Henriksen and Bill Paxton, which makes it cool, but I don't know. It's not as good a movie.
Paul says it's close with Predator 2.
Like, Predator 2 is not bad, right? And then, like, a way distant, fourth is Prey. And it's got a lot of problems, but it's not terrible.
Jeremy says, I enjoyed Predators. It was better than it gets credit for.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Watching any movie on Univision, Spanish is really fun.
Nice.
As a kid, I loved watching the Spanish station because we had just, regular antenna TV.
Yeah.
And there was, 10, probably not even 10 channels you get, but one of them that came through clearly was the Spanish channel. And so I'd watch the
Telenovelas?
Yeah, the soap operas, of course.
Oh, what was it? In Oklahoma, they had one that would come on called Mujeres Asesinas. It's like these, which is like what? Female assassins? But you'd watch it, it was more like a soap opera. So it's like, okay, interesting.
No, it really is. So, yeah, I don't know. Furiosa, it's too long, but it's fine. And then go see Abigail? I don't know. I was getting recommended to see Abigail, but it's spooky. And then what else is there? What, Garfield?
I'll go see Abigail with you.
So Chuckaroo Bob says Big Trouble in Little China is the second best movie ever made.
Ever made?
What's
Oh, man.
the first best is what I'm curious.
What is your first best, Chuckaroo Bob? That's a good question.
I do love
But Big
that
Trouble,
movie, though.
it's-
I love that movie.
I agree. Every time I watch it, I actually love it more. Because we did rewatch it somewhat
Yeah.
recently, and I was like, nope, this movie's amazing. And what was it? Popcorn in Bed watched it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she was
It
like, I
was,
don't get it. And I'm like,
Not for her.
no.
Is what she
So it's
said.
like, is that of just an era as well?
Oh,
'Cause
yes.
Oh,
my
I
grew
God,
up
yes.
watching
That is
that
of
movie.
an early
Me too.
80s era.
It was one of my childhood watching movies for sure.
Yep.
What was that? It was that. It was Total Recall.
Total Recall I'd watch on repeat, yeah. I don't know, just watch weird movies with weird things happening in them.
I watched
Night of the Living
Labyrinth a
Dead.
lot.
It's
How old
obsessed
are
with-
you watching Total Recall on repeat?
Army of Darkness.
Under 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And Big Trouble in Little China, because it was delightful. What a fun movie.
So Jeremy needs to point out that there are the AVP movies, which are also way better than The Predator, which is one of the worst movies ever made.
The Predator, which should have never been made. Yeah, we should
Correct.
just disallow and not even acknowledge it.
Yeah, just put the Alien vs. Predator movies in there instead of The Predator.
Indeed. Now everyone wants to know what Chuckaroo first best movie. Oh, you're on the spot now, my friend.
That's right.
What would be the first best movie?
What is your number one?
And it's like there's movies.
Your first best, not your best worst movie.
Your first best. Your
Which is a
second
great
best.
documentary, by the way, if you guys are into that sort of thing. It's the documentary where the kid he's a guy now and he's like a film major, but he played the kid when he was a kid in Troll 2.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have weird memories as a kid of this movie that's supposedly one of the worst movies ever made. And so I was like, I'm going to go back and just try to find the people who were on this with me. And he has this little journey as he goes through and finds everyone and kind of I think he even finds the director and all this stuff. And it is, what do you call it? I mean, is that Schadenfreude? I don't know if it's quite that, but it is just this bizarre.
It's a journey. It's an interesting journey.
A journey of cringe and interestingness. I don't know.
But not as bad as
But
Manos
it's
Hands
not the
of Fate.
first best movie.
Oh
though.
God.
Well, you can't do that on Manos Hands of Fate because everyone died within years of that movie having been made. There's like 3 people that survived.
Yeah, no,
It's weird.
There's definitely
The
something
universe
bizarre.
decided that they were not worth saving.
They're like, how dare you?
Chuckaroo says Jaws, of course. Good take. We were just talking about John Milnew the other day,
Yes.
and the quote, or not the quote, but the scene he wrote
Yeah.
of the
Indianapolis.
The Indianapolis,
Yeah.
and that whole story. And what was the other thing you'd heard about with this lady who
Oh, yeah. Well, so John Milius is a man's man sort of guy. He's the guy that wrote and directed Conan, wrote and directed the best movie, or my favorite movie as a kid, Red Dawn. But either way, he wrote that scene where the guy talks about what happened to the sailors in the Indianapolis. Well, when the movie came out in 1970.
something
76, 75, something
was it
like that.
before Star Wars?
It was right around Star Wars. I don't
Okay.
remember which order.
In the
it was,
70s.
I think it was before because I think Jaws was the first blockbuster.
You're right.
And
That's right.
Star Wars was the second.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's how it
So
goes.
pre
it was out
77.
before.
Yeah.
But it's like there was a lady who her son had served on the Indianapolis, and she had no idea what happened to him. She just knew he was like missing in action or killed in action, like whatever. But there was no details, and so whenever she's listening to Shaw talk about the Indianapolis that he was on, right? Like that's the first time
that's
she'd
a
ever heard
mesmerizing
about what had
speech,
happened.
right? Yeah, that's crazy. That's the first time you said you heard about it.
Yeah, she didn't know until then. It was interesting. I think she'd written a letter to Spielberg to let him know that or something. But there was
That's wild.
that take. They had shot it the day before, and they're sitting around a table drinking, right, and bonding. And so Shaw was the actor who plays him was drinking as well. They were all drinking, but when it got time to do that scene, he was just drunk. And so the next morning he felt terrible because he was just like, I think I messed up. I don't think I did a very good job. And he begged Spielberg to let him try again.
reshoot it?
And so they set it up and let him go. And he nailed it the first take. That's the one in the movie, which is just super good. So, I don't know. Some trivia there for Chuckaroo Bob's favorite movie of all time.
There you go. Which maybe you already knew that. Mandragora, oh gosh, don't get me started on telenovelas. Also, Mujeres Asesinas is reversed. So it isn't female assassins, it's female murderers. So it's about murderous coworkers, mothers, and housewives.
Okay. Yes.
That makes it
more
better.
sense.
Oh, I love it. Jeremy, NT is the best character in that movie for sure. Thomas Jane. Oh yeah, because Paul was like, "Oh God, the Predator was so bad that not even Thomas Jane could save it."
I like Thomas Jane quite a lot.
Yeah, but he
dude's
couldn't
awesome.
save that movie. Olivia Munn couldn't save that movie no matter what she did, and yeah, it was awful. Poor thing. I feel bad because I think Olivia Munn's like a legit nerd girl,
Oh, yeah.
or geek, and because I do remember her from early G4 when I watched Tech TV, and then when it switched to G4, I was kind of going to college at that point and not really watching it so much, but I do remember Olivia Munn. And it's the poor thing, lost out. She was originally courted to be the girlfriend of Deadpool in Deadpool, and she turned it down to be Psylocke in
Oh yeah,
that
X-Men movie.
Yeah, X-Men movie. And it was oh, like, I understand why she made that choice because,
Yeah.
wow, Psylocke's a really cool
Well,
character.
you want to be a superhero, not just the girlfriend of a superhero, right?
But it's just like, they've just been like, kind of, I guess, bad career decisions, right?
Well,
Because
like
it's just
the
not
call
been
was a good
profitable.
call. It just turned out to be bad,
It
right?
was just a
because you just never
shit movie.
know.
Yeah,
as
you
an
don't.
actor, it's
No,
not like
you
you're the
don't.
one making the movie. You're just
No, and you don't blame her for it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like you know she wants to be in cool roles, and it's like you just want to root for her. But anyway, Paul, yeah, I messaged you as soon as I saw Popcorn in Bed, had it queued up. That's right for Big Trouble in Little
oh
China.
yeah. So Jeremy believes Conan the Barbarian is the best movie ever.
It is a man's movie.
It is
So is
certain-
Predator.
Well, anything by John McTiernan is a man's man movie too, like Die Hard and Predator. Like,
Jeremy says he also did the series Rome, yeah, which was like that HBO series.
wait,
I think
who
we
did?
saw. Whoever did Red Dawn. I don't know. Paul
Red
says
Dawn. He also did. Oh, John Milius did.
Rome.
Did he do Rome? I didn't know that if he did.
Did you watch any of Rome? Okay. Paul, I couldn't decide on best ever movie. It would probably be between Predator, Alien, and The Thing, probably.
That's like the trifecta right
Yeah,
there.
those are all really good. He also did The Wind and the Lion? I think that says that.
Wind and the Lion, huh?
I don't know that one.
I don't either.
Yeah. That's interesting. Gosh, it's hard to pick best movie. Like I have like my top 5 for some genres, comedy most notably, but like best movie ever.
We were talking about top 5 comedy. I'm trying to remember what the 5th one was for comedy.
Yeah,
'Cause it was
I feel
like-
like it bounces in and out.
Because it's like
between-
Hot Fuzz, The
Hot
Other
Fuzz,
Guys,
yeah.
Tropic Thunder,
and Black Dynamite.
Black Dynamite.
So
And those are 4 solid calls, but I can't remember the 4th was.
the 5th one.
Or I'm sorry, the 5th one was.
Yeah. Yeah, The Wind and the Lion, so good. I forgot about it. I have not seen that. I don't know what you're talking about. Mandragora, that does make it better. Every Mexican actress still living begged to be given an episode because they wanted a chance to play the villainess. They said it was so much fun. Oh, I bet.
I feel like Salma Hayek could have just strolled right into that series if she felt like it.
Probably, but
Right, 'cause-
Salma
Well, she
Hayek
was
did all right for herself.
No, but I mean for fun, right? It's like when you watch what is it, Game of Thrones or Downton Abbey, where you're like, oh, you're a British actor? Oh, then you've been on
then you've
one of
been
these
in
2
this.
shows. Like,
Yeah,
of course.
that's fair.
No matter who you are, if you're British and you act, you're on it. So I'm surprised she wasn't on there at some point just for fun.
That is amazing.
Oh, Chariots of Fire. That one's really good.
Yeah.
I think, geez, did that win an Academy Award?
I don't know.
like
I
it
never
did.
saw Chariots
think
of
so.
Fire.
And second is Serenity. Right now with movies in the theater is that most people are like, oh, this is in theater? Whatever, it'll be on streaming in like 2 weeks. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They put it out into streaming way too early. And because they do that, it just, I don't know, it removes the urgency to go see it in theater, which is a lot of money for film studios. And they just leave it
Yeah.
on the table because they're so anxious to get it on their streaming service.
I know, it's super frustrating. Jeremy, John Milieu, yes. And The Wind and the Lion is about Richard the Lionheart's father and mother Eleanor, as well as the kids and how they coped after the death of their older son. Audrey
Oh,
Hepburn's in
wow.
it. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm not aware of that at all.
Mandragora Mujeres Asesinas was like Xena Warrior Princess. A lot of actresses wanted to be on that for a chance to wear leather. Xena was great. I was listening to another live stream the other day, and there was, this nerd argument, right, of like, who would win, Buffy or Xena? And, it was contentious because, like, okay, yeah, Buffy's got a lot of powers. She's got, like, demonic powers. Buffy invaded heaven. I'm sorry, Xena invaded heaven.
Yeah, but so did Bill and Ted.
Yes.
So,
Sure.
I'm just saying.
They
Apparently all it
snuck
takes
into
is you just
heaven.
gotta
They didn't.
mug.
They
No, they mugged some people in heaven and took their clothes.
they
And
legally
death was
crossed
with
into
them.
heaven.
And death was
That's
with
not
them.
the same. So I'm on the side of Xena, even though I loved both shows, because the 90s was probably the apex of like female TV shows, strong female
shows. Yeah, for sure.
And the 80s, I guess, was the apex of strong women in movies. And then after that, it's all been sort of like, but yeah, like Xena versus Buffy, man. Like, I feel like Xena's got an edge. And part of it's like, okay, there's an age difference between them. And I've been watching like the fat electrician and his war stories, which I've just been completely in love with. And it's like, well, there's what is it? Youth and exuberance versus old age and treachery. And I just feel like Xena has an edge.
I mean, she definitely has the old age and treachery, for sure.
She does. She's got a magical chakram. She's been a warlord. She knows how to lead people. And she's blessed by the god of war. I mean,
that's fair. She probably would win, even though I like Buffy better.
Yeah, whatever. I'm a little bit afraid to rewatch all the old Xena movies. Like, I have it all. I got the Xena box set DVD. Really need to get it on Blu-ray if I can. But
whatever you do, don't get the
Buffy Blu-ray. Oh, I know, that hack and slash
mess.
Disaster. But yeah, it was I don't know. It's a good argument. Let's see. The Marine Corps used a scene from Wind and Lion as a recruiting tool. What? Jeremy, my bad. That was the wrong movie. And The Wind and the Lion is with Sean Connery and is about American being kidnapped by Arabs. I don't know. There's like an older movie like that I still need to see with Sally Fields, like the Not Without My Daughter. Is that the
Not Without My Daughter?
I've heard about it. And I keep wanting to see it.
It's like the blueprint of the Lifetime channel for.
I know. I want to see what the original of that looks like for science. Okay. Mandragora, you could argue Planet of the Apes is post-apocalyptic. It's post-apocalyptic that a new society has flourished. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely post-apocalyptic.
The same is true for Starship Troopers, the movie. Battletech technically has a few apocalypses they went through.
Is Starship Troopers, the movie, post-apocalyptic? I don't know if I would say that. Like, Buenos Aires got destroyed, but like Earth isn't destroyed.
It's still there. I mean, Terra isn't destroyed just because it's post-apocalyptic in 40K.
Well, yeah, but what else got destroyed, right? And Starship Troopers. I mean, what, the Mormon civilization, right? Like the little settlement that they made on the bug planet. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, the Klendathu. Klendathu, I think, is the name of the planet.
You remember way more names than I do.
Because we can ill afford another Klendathu. I just remember that phrase with the military lady who steps down because she feels responsible, steps down, hands her power over. There's a great video out there for anyone interested. If you look it up, it's like the politics behind Starship Troopers, because the filmmaker made RoboCop. What's his name?
Paul Verhoeven.
Paul Verhoeven was just like, I don't care. I'm just going to make it look like a fascist world.
Well, yeah, he refused to read the book.
Yeah, he wouldn't even read the book. And so, like, there's enough reference in it in the script that even in the movie, when you watch it, you're like, yeah, this is nothing like fascism at all. Like, at all. It's just people wear clothes that look like Nazis. And so they're like, oh, see, there you go. They wear the clothes. They're fascists. And it's like, what? That's not how that works. So it's just an interesting video that goes over like what type of government and what type of leadership is actually in Starship Troopers. And it's kind of fascinating.
Like if you pay attention to the actions.
Oh, it's like a 45-minute video, something like that. It deep dives in, so it's not like a light watch. Like you got to pay attention to it.
Aldo Rokimi asks, what army do you recommend for somebody who has never painted before?
Space Marines.
Reaper minis. Cheap minis.
Well, that's not an army.
What army do you recommend? Well, are you playing 40K? If it's 40K, then yeah, Space Marines all day long.
Space Marines are
Space Marines
definitely
are the easiest thing to paint.
They're kind of fun too. Like learning to paint on them is fun.
Well, so they're very simple, so it's easy to paint, but also they're kind of a blank canvas, so you can get real detailed and mess around and stuff. Like they really are the perfect beginner thing to paint, I think.
Yeah, it's why they sell 1 million billion of them, and there's more chapters out every day. And I say that knowing that the Tome Keepers are wonderful, and I'm so glad that they're a chapter. I'm gonna make my tone keepers, dang it. If you're just painting for practice and you're not building necessarily an army, Reaper and Reaper Bones are so affordable.
Reaper
and that's
Bones?
outside of their 3D printing stuff.
No, Reaper Bones, and then play Frostgrave.
Yeah.
Because you can use any of your Reaper miniatures to do it, and Reaper miniatures are so cheap. Like, yeah, it's the way to go, for sure.
Jerry DeBacca says Necrons are the easiest. Metallic paint for the whole thing. Yeah.
Depends on how you're painting them.
Yeah, like, you have to kind of get a technique down to make your metal look good. Because, I mean, you can just, what is it, lead belcher, or what's the spray paint that they have?
Oh, as a primer?
Well,
or not a
could,
primer, but
I mean, you would just throw that down and you're like, they're metal. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, but they just look like you spray painted them. And so you really have to start working on edging and highlight and all that stuff.
Well, and if you want to do anything interesting with the Necrons, it's going to take a lot more technique because they have a lot more tiny pieces to them, little wires and stuff hanging off. I would know. I've painted an entire Necron army.
It is really pretty.
So I would say Necrons aren't bad, but definitely Space Marines are way easier.
I would agree.
And I think they're way friendlier for a
easiest.
beginning painter.
All right, but it comes with this caveat because he's saying how hard is it to paint Necrons? I love them lore-wise, and the Lich Guards are so cool.
Then paint
if you're motivated and you like that army, go with that because you're going to be more motivated to paint them anyway.
Any army you're motivated to paint is going to be the easiest.
Yeah, like if you don't care,
sure.
then and you just care about what's easy to paint, then Space Marines. But if you like Necrons, go for it. Like it's not gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Just base your models.
Yeah, that's all we ask.
That's my recommendation.
No,
and it
if
will
you
make your
base
model look so much better.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you base them, even a bad paint job looks good, as long as you just base them.
That's right. And to Patty's Parlor's point, he made a game called Mutants that you can check out, and he says that you only need 7 Reaper Chronoscape minis, and you have a whole mutant gang. So lots of gaming options if you're not just looking at 40K as well.
Yeah, that's a good option for sure.
Paul says Necrons are pretty easy, a good mix of ease and detail. Necron warriors are cool. Other models get more complex, and it also depends on like how complex you want. If you're looking for glow effects on every little thing, then it's gonna take a while. But yeah, you're gonna.
I just started on hard mode with Necrons with the paint scheme I was given, so
Yes.
By far, Harlequins are way harder. Just so you know.
Yeah. We're like, here, Flo, have some Harlequins. Paint those up. You'll be fine. Anyway, I think we could probably call it here. It is now after 8. I super appreciate everybody who joined me on the stream. We kind of talked about Furiosa. We talked about movies, aesthetic, all kinds of things. We had a good time. Resident
It's just
Evil.
a meandery show. Let's just be real. That's what we do every week.
It is. Yeah. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, which is to say in the month of June. June 12th is the plan. We did re-edit our outro. I'm sorry, Patty. And it was good seeing you, Melinda. Let's see. Also, basing is super easy. It only takes 3% of the time you take on painting the miniature. Yeah, for sure. Definitely, basing is 100% worth it all the time.
Well, especially when you're like, you have your way that you base everything, then it's just like, oh yeah, I just do this.
We re-edited the outro, so hopefully YouTube doesn't...
So that we're no longer menaces to society, apparently.
Yeah, so YouTube doesn't like harass us again. So hopefully that is fine. But I'll be in the chat for a little bit while that plays. And so if you want to still chat in there, feel free to.
Melinda says bye.
Bye, Melinda. So we will see you guys hopefully in 2 weeks and have some more fun, tough stuff to talk about. I'll tell you how my tournament went. All right, bye.
Bye.
Barry, cover me. All right, guys, this is it. Copy that. wrong with this place? I'm in the west corridor. I'm right outside the generator room. I'm out of bullets.